Thank you, Steve, and thanks to Steve and Michael and their entire staff for putting this event together on somewhat short notice, and really appreciate all of you being a part of this today and cranking this back up. I had a ton of fun in this event when I was an assistant coach here with Coach Spurrier, and was really important to me to recreate this and do it again, and hopefully bigger and better than ever. Certainly want to thank Harold Pickrell and Clem King from Wood Creek. What an amazing course, what an amazing place. I used to live about a mile from here when I was here before as an assistant coach, and would come over here, sneak on the golf course some, ride my bike through here all the time, and to see where this place has come since then, it's amazing. Got a fantastic thing going, and really appreciate you guys allowing us to be out here and be a part of this today. I believe it's your first outing that you've had here at Wood Creek since the pandemic started, so thanks for letting us be a part of it. I know we've got some of our staff members that live out here and absolutely rave about it, and it's great that we've all been able to get out here and be a part of it as well. Certainly want to thank Home Team Barbecue and Backstreet's Grill for the gift cards they put in those bags in y'all's carts. So really appreciate that. Certainly, I know my family and I do, two of our favorite restaurants here in Columbia, and we'll certainly be taking advantage of those. Also means a lot that Frank Martin was here today, and Tony Annan, our golf coach, as well. I know some of you guys have gotten a chance to visit with them. They're fantastic. I've been with Tony at Gamecock Club events since May, and been with Coach Martin this week at Gamecock Club events, and have really enjoyed being around those guys. Knew Coach Martin, obviously, when I came here, and my respect for him has only grown since I got hired and had the chance to spend time with him. And Tony, I'm kind of the old guy here at Carolina. He was hired about 5 months after I was, but really have enjoyed getting to know him and our soccer program. Excited about the future of that program with Tony, and really appreciate those guys being out here and being a part of this today. And I'm super excited that obviously, we got some former players on our staff that were here, but to see former players in this program be a part of this today, to have Sterling Sharp here today, to have Harold Green, to have Jones Andrews. I tweeted it earlier, but I watch those three guys go up and down the field on my dad's Virginia Tech team all the time, and certainly really appreciate them being here. And Sterling, I know how talented a golfer Sterling is. I think I saw that he won the long drive contest as well, and he did. Yep, I see the thumbs up back there. I was talking to my dad on the phone. I told him that Sterling Sharp was playing in this thing, and he said, well, all I can tell you is don't get in a long driving contest with him, and he's exactly right, and glad to see that Sterling backed it up. And then Tommy Suggs as well, fantastic friend and ambassador for this program, and so thankful for his friendship and support, and to have Tommy here as well today. And then Matt Neesmith and so many of our friends from the Gamecock golf program, really appreciate you guys being a part of it, and so many other guests that were here a part of this as well. I get asked all the time what I learned from Coach Spurrier working for him, and I learned a lot on the field, but probably the greatest lesson I learned from him is that it's his old saying, in these events, par is your friend. So I've had a lot of guys compliment me, and that wasn't my idea, but continue what Coach Spurrier started, that if you're putting for par, pick up and move on to the next hole, and let's keep this thing going. So he taught me that when I was an assistant coach for him, and I know he would be proud of that. I know he would not be proud of the fact that we allowed you guys to buy mulligans before you played. That would never ever have happened with him, I don't think, but we've evolved a little bit, and excited that we were able to put this thing on today and to have you guys be a part of it. Obviously, I've answered and talked a lot about it stuff. Saw most of you in Hoover last week for SEC Media Days, and thanks for so many of you that were there and was over there to cover us. And since then, obviously, a lot's happened across college football, and been a busy week for us as well. It's been awesome getting out this week. Started out with a Gamecock Club event here in Columbia Monday night. Myself and our entire staff were in Greenville Tuesdays, visiting with the great high school coaches in this state at our South Carolina High School Coaches Clinic. We spoke at that, myself and Clayton White and Marcus Satterfield, and our whole staff was in Greenville for the day, visiting with them. I was in Aiken yesterday for lunch, and Charlotte last night for an awesome Gamecock Club event, and then I'll be down in Charleston tonight to wrap up the week. So been a busy week, but tons of energy out there right now about South Carolina football. It's been awesome getting out and visiting with so many Gamecocks this this week. Also, like I told all of them at these events, our summer has been fantastic. This is our last full week in the weight room before we crank up with practice next week. Our guys are lifting and running and testing and all those type things this week, finishing up with that tomorrow morning. Got a few days off next week, our guys will, and then we report on Thursday. And then start practice around 9:40 on Friday morning. Cannot wait to get started. Obviously love being here with you guys, love going to Gamecock Club events, but there's nothing like being out on the football field with our guys. And they've had a fantastic summer with Luke Day and his staff in the weight room. I was with Zach Pickens the other night at an event in Greenville, a charity event where he represented our program so well at that, but was riding back with Zach afterwards, and he commented that he and so many of the guys on our team feel better going into this preseason than they ever have as student athletes at Carolina from a physical standpoint, their strength, their conditioning, where they are with their bodies, and that's a testament to Coach Day and his staff, and that's a testament to our players and what they've done this summer. So we're eager to get out on the field with them on Friday. Recruiting has been full speed, always full speed, but an even faster gear since June 1st when everything opened up with recruiting. Had a lot of prospects and their families on campus in June, 12 commitments since June 1st. Hopefully we're not done yet with the summer. It's been awesome being able to reach out and get into other areas. We'll always start in South Carolina, you all know that, but to be able to get out to other areas and regions and states, the reception has been amazing. We've got a big-time prospect that's en route to Columbia as we speak. That'll be here today and tomorrow, and then we've got about 20 prospects that'll be on campus on Saturday, all that have scholarship offers from South Carolina. Going to be a huge day for us from a recruiting standpoint on Saturday. A lot of guys coming back for the second and third time since June 1st. So it should be a fun day recruiting-wise on Saturday, and kind of the last hurrah from a recruiting standpoint. The next time prospects will be able to get on campus will be September 1st, but especially September 4th for the home opener in a packed Williams-Brice Stadium. I've had so many people tell me that the energy and excitement level about South Carolina football has never been higher, and I agree. You know, just from my standpoint, going around to these clubs, I believe it. And to be able to get into Williams-Brice Stadium and represent our great university on September 4th against Eastern Illinois. I'm counting down the days. We got a lot of work to do until then. I can't wait, but that's going to be a great recruiting tool for these high school prospects that are there that night, and can't wait to get out there and kick this season off in front of our fans on September 4th. So with that, I'll be glad to answer any questions that you guys have. And again, thanks for being here, and thanks for all you do in covering us.
If you raise your hand, we'll get a microphone to you. We have one on each side.
We're going Sterling Sharp first, Steve. I'm going to overrule you on that one.
Yeah, to help me help you, what offense am I going to see when I watch South Carolina play? Am I going to see a spinoff of Oklahoma, or am I going to see a spinoff of what you did when you were here with Steve Spurrier?
I think you're going to, great question, and you know, I've been part of some great offenses at Oklahoma the last 3 years. We hired a fantastic offensive coordinator at Marcus Satterfield. It was with the Carolina Panthers last year, and their offensive coordinator was the offensive coordinator at LSU in 2019. So blending what he and I have done at different places along with the other fantastic coaches we have on our offensive staff and what they've done at different places. But at the end of the day, you better do what you have the personnel to do. And I feel like we got a system that's multiple and flexible enough to get the ball to our playmakers. And we need more guys like you and Harold and Robert Brooks and all those guys like I remember watching back in the day. But we've got a good group. And at the end of the day, I would hope when you watch our offense, Sterling, when you watch our football team, you're blown away by the physicality and the toughness that we play with. Nowadays in college football and any football, you better be able to create explosive plays. So we certainly want to create explosive plays. We need to be able to run it when we have to run it and throw it when we have to throw it, and get the ball to our playmakers and do what we do best, and not try and force a square peg into a round hole either.
Got David up front.
Hey, Shane, we asked you about this Monday, and things hadn't quite moving along, but they are moving today. What do you think about Oklahoma and Texas joining the SEC?
Yeah, I guess I can't pull the old that's all just hypothetically talking and all that anymore, right? That worked on Monday night with you guys. Tried it, Josh. But, no, great question, David. Certainly there's a lot going and a lot of people that are smarter than me and way above my pay grade making decisions, and we've got a fantastic commissioner in Greg Sankey that we have tons of respect for and know that he will always do what's best for this league in college football, and it's already the greatest, toughest conference in America. And with those two teams attempting to join this league, it would only get tougher. And, you know, from my standpoint, we tell recruits all the time, you want to play against the best across the country, other than the NFL, it's the SEC. And that shows itself every single year in the NFL draft. That shows itself with the passion of the fans and the talent that you see on the field each and every Saturday. So we tell recruits all that all the time anyway. If you want to play against the best, you need to come to the SEC. And when you've got two premier programs across college football in Texas and Oklahoma doing everything they can to try and join the SEC, that's like the mic drop, like the ultimate mic drop in the office when you have recruits there. I mean, because it is what it is. It's true. You got these two programs like that. They want to come play in this league. That should tell you something as a high school prospect. So we're certainly that helps our cause when we start talking about it from a recruiting standpoint.
Eric Boynton?
You mentioned the high energy around the program right now. How much of that has to do with the recent recruiting? And I know you can't talk about, obviously, you can't talk about commits, but you guys have won some pretty nice battles here recently, have really been flourishing, and you're beating out some of the top SEC schools as well as some other top schools from across the country to get a commit out of some of these good.
Yeah, I think that the energy has a lot to do with that. I mean, I feel like there was a ton of energy around the program before June 1st when everything cranked up and we started getting commitments, and that's this fan base. I think the fan base feels that we have a coaching staff that truly wants to be here. It's not just another job for the people on this staff, and I think that shows, and it's real, and we're genuine in our love for this place and our excitement about being here, and certainly the fans feel that, and our fan base and Gamecock Nation feels that, and you know, so our players have embraced us as a new staff coming in. They've helped create that energy, but certainly the recruiting has only helped that grow since June 1st as well. And there's only so much you can do over a computer screen when you're doing a virtual visit on Zoom. And our virtual visits, Jessica Jackson, who's here today, and Taylor Edwards, and Joe Lyle, I mean, our entire organization, George Wynn that helps us run them. I mean, the whole staff, when we do these visits, it's not like these virtual visits. It's not like we just, you know, send some pre-recorded video and a recruit watches it, and then we get back on the phone with them and say, hey, what'd you think? Did you like South Carolina? I mean, when we did these visits, we did over 100 of them since I got hired in December, over 100. And those things are an hour long, and it involves the entire staff. So our coaches kid me all the time that they never had any time for any free time or golf from the time we got hired because I had them on virtual visits all spring. But we got a lot of work done, and that was supposed to be funny. It's true, though. But to be able to, there's only so much you can do. So after doing those, that created a lot of energy with those prospects, but there's no substitute for them being able to come onto your campus, see things in person, see the amazing facilities that we have, see this awesome city that we live in, the beautiful campus that we call home, and then just to get around the people that we have in our program. There's no substitute for that, and that's why we had the success that we did. I had a mom, some of you guys have heard me say this, I think I said it last week in Hoover, but I had a mom sit in my office, and the best compliment she gave me was, Coach, you guys are the same in person that you are on Zoom. And I said, what do you mean by that? And she goes, well, we did a lot of these virtual visits, and the staff acts one way, but then when you spend a weekend with them, they're a complete different, and you guys aren't. Y'all are exactly the same on a computer and a virtual visit as you are 48 hours on an official visit weekend, and that's us. I mean, what you see is what you get with us. A lot of you guys got to see us and what we're about on the golf course today as coaches and personalities, and I got a fantastic group. We have a fantastic group in our building, and I'm glad people are getting to see that.
Pete Acabelli?
Shane, you kind of touched on it a moment ago, but how big a factor was the guys getting past the transitional phase and into embracing you guys to bring some momentum and traction into the summer and now?
Talking about our players on the team. Yeah, I mean, I'm certainly there's a feeling out process. There's no doubt about it. The very first team meeting I had, the day that I got hired and flew to Columbia, I told them in that meeting, I'm not sitting here asking you to trust me right now. You don't know me. You didn't come here to play for me. You came to play for another coaching staff. But myself and our coaches, we're going to earn your trust each and every day with our actions, and you're going to see that. And I feel like we've done that since then, and each day is a process. Are we there yet? No. I mean, there's going to be bumps in the road as we go forward as well, but with what we've done and the team and the connectedness that we've built since January, we're ready for those moments.
Phil Kornbluth?
Hey, Shane, you've said in the past that you believe a successful team's built with its offensive and defensive lines and special teams, and considering that those are really three of your most veteran areas on your team and maybe the deepest, does that give you some feeling of maybe comfort and belief that this team is maybe going to be a little bit better than most people are expecting?
Yeah, I mean, certainly I believe it, and I said it last week at Media Days. My dad used to always say that, and I agree. When you're, especially in this league, I mean, it's such a line of scrimmage league. I've been in other conferences, and there's a lot of difference between the SEC and other leagues, but none more so, in my opinion, than the amount of talent you see on the line of scrimmage week in, week out in this conference. And when you have the guys that we have up front with our offensive line and a great offensive line coach in Greg Atkins, and our defensive line with Jimmy Lindsey and Mike Peterson in that group, that certainly gives you hope. And then to have all of your specialists returning, and then Pete Limbo hitting that up, it's certainly is something you feel good about. I mean, we're not, don't get me wrong. I mean, we got a lot of work to do everywhere, and those positions aren't any different. But it's a good group to start with. And in college football, studies show you better be able to stop the run if you want to have a chance to be successful. And that starts up front on defense, and we're in position to hopefully do that better than what we did last year.
Ben Portnoy?
Shane, I know we've heard you talk a lot about building kind of a family atmosphere within the program and bringing a positivity to it. Just as a head coach, what goes into that from your perspective and your side of things, and how do you feel like that's kind of gone so far through the offseason? How do you feel like people have kind of taken to it?
Yeah, I think it's important for our players to see us not only as coaches but husbands and fathers, which is what we are, and so it's from that standpoint, I want our players to see that. From a personal standpoint, I'm gone. Our coaches, we're gone away from our families a lot, and there's a lot of sacrifices that our families make to allow us to do what we love to do. So I want to be able to include our families in as much of things as they can, because they're a part of it also. And I've been fortunate to work for some. Coach Spurrier was like that, to work for some coaches that wanted your families around, and Lincoln Riley was amazing about it at Oklahoma, and who he saw that from Coach Stoops, and Coach Stoops saw it from Steve Spurrier at Florida, and I've been blessed, and to be able to do that. You can still get your work done, and you can still have your family around, and you come around, you're going to see our families up and down the hallway. If you came around the facility this week, my wife and kids are at the beach, so you're going to see my little dog running up and down the hallways at the facility as well, and at practice, our wives and kids, and my kids get close to the players, and I think it's important for my children. I can teach them lots of lessons and what happens in college football and sports and life in general, wins, losses, some great teaching moments, and there's a lot of positives in that as well.
Go to Corey.
Shane, the last couple of years, the team that led the league in rushing didn't have great years. What are the steps that you guys must take in order to allow Kevin and Marshawn and the rest of the run game to continue to lead this offense, but also allow you guys to be as successful as possible?
Yeah, I think you got to continue to improve that. Obviously, that's offensive line, that's tight ends, wide receivers, running backs, quarterbacks. Everybody to be able to run the ball. Kevin had a fantastic year last year. To not have the season that South Carolina wanted on the field, but for him to be over a 1,000-yard rusher is a great testament to him and his ability, and the rest of the offensive line and tight ends. We can't all just rely on him. We've got some other running backs that we feel really excited about. Marshawn Lloyd, you guys saw Zaquandre out here today running around and being a part of this event, and Zaquandre White's going to be a fantastic player. But then you've also the rest of that offense needs to do their part. The receivers, the tight ends, the quarterbacks. We've got to be able to throw the ball and create explosive plays, like I was just talking about in the run game and pass game. And that was Sterling mentioned a minute ago, the offenses at Oklahoma. We were good at Oklahoma for a lot of different reasons. We had some great players, don't get me wrong. Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts, Spencer Rattler when I was there, but we ran the heck out of the ball. And when you run the ball that successfully like we did, it started and ended with the run game. And then because of that, so much else opened up because of it. So we got to run the ball, no doubt about it, and then we got to be better in all the other areas also.
Mike Gillespie?
I saw you earlier joking with some staff members, joking with us, members of the media. You seem very, very calm externally. I'm wondering if you're as calm internally as you seem externally, a month before we kick this thing off.
Yes.
Anything else?
No. I am. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I get it. I'm a head football coach in the SEC. You're in a pressure cooker. I love what I'm doing, and you're not going to – there's going to be bumps in the road. There's going to be tough moments this season, I'm sure, but, I'm not going to lose. One of the things we talk about in our program all the time is gratitude and positive energy, and I'm not telling you that if we lose a game, I'm going to come in there on that Tuesday press conference or whatever it is, and I'm going to have a huge smile on my face. No, man, I'm not saying that. But, yeah, I am. I got a lot of confidence in what we're about at South Carolina. I got a lot of confidence in what the players in this program are about, the staff members that we have here, and I got a great group of people around me, and it's late July. It's not mid-October, so certainly the mindset's going to be a little bit different. Everybody's undefeated right now, but I'm excited and can't wait to get to work. I'm very blessed to be in the position I am right here.
Gino?
Shane, up here in the front row. For what's best for your program, do you want the SEC to add 2 more teams, 4 more teams, no more teams? And whether they do add more or not, what do you like best as far as an alignment within the SEC? 2 divisions, pods, no divisions? What's best for South Carolina football?
That's like 9 different questions right there, Gene. I can go back to what I told Josh and David and some of these guys on Monday night. That's a lot of like hypotheticals that I can't even get into. I don't know how it's going to set up. To be honest with you, I really haven't spent a whole lot of time thinking about it. I'm not just telling you that to say the right answer and take the easy way out. I really haven't. Like, I got enough issues going on with trying to figure out how to beat Eastern Illinois the first game and putting together a great practice for next Friday and having a fantastic recruiting weekend on Saturday. And I'm trying to worry about what I can control. I've got no control over how they set up, whether it's divisions or pods or when it starts. Is it 2022 or is it 2025? Adding more teams, I don't know. Commissioner Sankey will do what he feels best. He's a whole lot smarter than I am. And I look at it as whether it's Oklahoma and Texas or anybody else that we may add, we get to play those teams. We don't have to go play Texas and Oklahoma, and it's like, oh, my God, we got to go play Oklahoma. Good. We get to go play Oklahoma. We get to go play Texas. I mean, if you come play in the SEC, you're going to play against the best. And if you don't want to play against the best, then you need to go play somewhere else. That's just the way it always has been and the way it always will be in this league.
Dick Cox?
Hey, Shane, in a lot of ways it hadn't been fun to be a coach over the last year. You've had to deal with COVID, transfer portal, and now dealing with the endorsements. How do you go about dealing and making sure there's no animosity in the locker room when you've got this guy who's getting endorsements and guys working harder that are not getting anything? How do you keep that from dividing your locker room?
No, it's a great question and something that I think all of us as coaches, not just football, but every coach in college athletics is, if we didn't tell you that was a concern, we'd be lying to you, frankly. We're constantly talking about the team aspect and what's best for the team. I mean, we're preaching that over and over and over, and we'll never stop. And we've told our players that the best thing for the entire team is for us to have success. I don't think they're going to be giving out a whole lot of endorsements to guys that are on 1-11 teams and things like that. Like, win football games, and that's best for everybody, not just in the endorsement market, but the postseason awards and NFL and everything. So let's focus on that. We've got a mature group of guys that I'm really proud of. They've handled that the right way. And granted, nobody has gone into a season. Coach Martin hasn't had to deal with, a guard that's averaging 20 a game and having another guy that's upset because he's only averaging 10 a game and how that may affect his roster. He hasn't had to go through a season. I haven't had to go through that from a football standpoint. But, let's worry about what we control. Let's try and be the very best that we can be. Let's do our best to win football games. And I've said it before, from an NIL standpoint, whether you agree with the law or you don't, it's here, so you better embrace it and make it a positive for your players, and we are. Our university's been fantastic. And then we're as well suited, probably better suited than anybody, in my opinion, because of where we're located. We don't have an NFL team in South Carolina. We don't have a Major League Baseball team or NBA team here at the highest level. It's South Carolina, and you're in the state capital, so there's a lot of opportunities for our players that certainly are an advantage over a school that's in a major metropolitan city that has a bunch of pro sports they're competing with.
Josh?
Shane, what about what Luke Day and that group are doing do you think will best translate for y'all on Saturdays?
Man, getting them stronger, getting them faster, creating mental and physical toughness. Not just Luke, but Clint Haggard, who's here today in our training room, and Kristen Coggin, who's back at the facility working, that does everything, a fantastic job from a nutrition standpoint. It's all of that, and then the players got to take care of themselves when they're outside the building and stay healthy and stay durable. But Luke and his staff, have really dived into getting our players better this summer. All the athletes in this room, they know that in the summertime, that's when your teams can really get closer, can grow, can get stronger, because the coaches aren't out there. You're basically, along with the strength coach, you're doing a lot of things on your own outside the weight room and developing leadership and things like that. So that's one thing that I feel like our guys have done. Luke and his squad have done an awesome job of bringing those guys along and getting them stronger. A lot of guys' bodies have changed, whether they've added weight, lost weight, whatever they needed to do, and hopefully have created an even more durable football team going into camp.
David?
Shane, you mentioned the enthusiasm of the fan base, the family atmosphere. Are there any events on tap, open practices, fan appreciation day that you guys have set up, or can you because of COVID right now?
We are working through that. So I've said it before, I want to be able to do that, and that's the truth. Steve and I are actually meeting tomorrow morning about some things. I've had some conversations with Steve Eigenbrot and the Gamecock Club and Chance Miller and Coach Tanner. We want to do all we can for our fan base and events like that. But we also got to make sure that we're doing everything in our power to make sure we've got doing what we have to do to be successful and get ready for the first game also.
Colin Taylor?
Shane, what have you seen now that you've been with him for, I guess, a couple months? What have you seen from Luke Doty since the end of spring to now before starting camp?
Oh, a lot. I mean, obviously we're limited a little bit in what we can do with them. We're not spending the amount of time in the summertime that we can in the springtime. But, he's really worked hard. I mean, Coach Satterfield and our offensive staff, Satterfield as a quarterback's coach, have really done a great job working with him from a fundamental standpoint, getting better fundamentally as a quarterback. Luke's really has taken on a leadership role. He's got to be that guy for us. Players on our team, respect him already, and he's embraced that and really worked on that role and leading a lot of things, the workouts in the summertime that are player-led and things of that nature. So excited about where Luke is right now, and along with the rest of those quarterbacks, they're all in there competing and trying to make each other better.
Phil?
Shane, what's the situation with any players who are yet to report? Is everybody in? Do you have any players who might not be able to go full speed when you start practice a week from Friday?
Right now, we're pretty good. Should have everybody that is listed on our roster, that people that you guys follow that are expecting to be there should be there when we start camp next week. And then health-wise, we're in a good position. Some guys that had some off-season surgeries that were limited in spring practice are obviously much farther along and should be ready to roll, and need to do a great job of keeping everybody healthy between now and then also.
Hale?
You mentioned the other night about being able to be on the field with players. Is that more of like a walkthrough type thing? What are some of the specifics you guys can do and accomplish during that setting?
You can't have a ball and you can't have equipment, basically. So there's only so much you can do without a football. But a lot of it is it's fundamentals, it's technique, it's scheme, being able to talk through scheme and things like that, helping them, and that's the gist of it. And any amount of time that we use with them, the NCAA gives us a certain amount of time during the week that we can work with our players. That includes time in the weight room. So basically it's Luke and his staff have all the time they need, and then whatever time they have left over we'll use as coaches. But he's got the priority in the summertime, and that's what we've been able to do.
And are you guys able to sit down and review film and things of that nature with them as well?
Eric?
Now, how much right here in the second row to your right? How much, if at all, do you kind of coordinate using your current players in recruiting? I don't know how much of that is even allowed. Are there rules against that? Or can you take a group of your more high-profile upperclassmen and go, listen, here's a group of 5 to 10 guys that we really want to go after, or hey, Marshawn, this guy's from your hometown. Why don't you reach out to him on social? How much of it can they participate, and how much do you try to coordinate that?
A lot of those guys, they've already got those relationships, anyway. We've got some guys from Delaware on our team. It's no mistake that we're recruiting some guys from that part of the country, and they all kind of knew each other beforehand. That wasn't anything that we had to tell them about. But probably more so than anything is just when those prospects are on campus, we're very strategic in, who, if on an official visit, for example, if you're a high school prospect that's coming in to spend the weekend with us on an official visit, we pay for everything. We pair you with a player on our team. So we're very strategic in who's coming and who best to pair with them on our team and things like that. So to me, and I believe it, I mean, there's no greater ambassadors for what this program's about than the players on our team. And we can talk to our guys all the time. If they go over to a player's apartment or dorm room at midnight on a Friday night and one of the players on our team is like, man, these coaches are full of it, and you don't want to come here, then you're probably not going to get the guy. So we're not like brainwashing our guys on what to say. We don't tell them anything, but just be honest, and that's what they do a great job of doing that. And those guys take pride in it. There's players on our team that they take pride on hosting a recruit on a visit, and whether that guy commits or not. I mean, they compete with each other from that standpoint and want to be great ambassadors for us.
Really kind of keying in on, why don't you reach out to them on Insta or something?
Yeah, I think guys nowadays are so tuned in to what's going on in recruiting. There's a movement going on right now for a certain recruit. I mean, there's not a lot of secrets out there. So I think our guys are smart enough that we don't even have to tell guys anything. They know what's going on.
Josh?
Have y'all gotten updated guidance from the SEC about COVID in terms of will vaccinated players have to contact trace? How's all that work?
Have we gotten updated? Not since I was there last week. No. I mean, everything that Commissioner Sankey had talked about before or anything that was out there publicly, to the best of my knowledge, hasn't changed. I mean, I'm certain. I know the SEC is monitoring everything that's going on like everyone else is, but as far as any certain directives, I haven't gotten anything. No, I haven't looked at my phone in 30 minutes. I don't know what's happened in the last 30 minutes, but going into today, everything was still the same, and Clint and his staff do a great job of keeping us abreast of things also.
Do they dictate whether vaccinated players have to be contact traced? Has that?
See, yeah, right now we're all in the same boat from that standpoint, that we're following the SEC protocols. I'm not going to get into what the SEC protocols are. I mean, I'm sure that's out there, what the SEC is asking. I'm not going to get into all that right now. I think that's out there, but we do what the SEC tells us to do along with the rest of the schools in the country, or rest of the schools in the conference.
Gino?
Shane, I know you saw the Bobby Bowden announcement recently. I wonder if you have an anecdote or memory that, sticks out to you about clashes you guys had with Bobby Bowden.
Oh, man, yeah. I mean, so many from when my dad first went to Virginia Tech in '87 and playing down there. I think 1988 or '89 was one of the first times they played Florida State, but played them all the time. And what a battle. Obviously, the national championship game was something I still haven't gotten over and never will. Thanks for bringing that up, that Florida State. But that was something that was tough to lose in the national championship game, but so much respect for him. And I would say just the thing that stands out with Coach Bowden to me is when I first wanted to get into coaching, back then, this was '99 was my last year of college, and starting about 1998, I sat down every summer and wrote 100 handwritten letters and just sent them out to coaches across the country asking to be a graduate assistant, because back in 1998, 1999, you didn't have multiple GAs and multiple analysts and quality control guys like you have now. You had an offensive GA, you have a defensive GA, and that was it. So it was hard to get into the profession, and I always appreciated the fact I always sent a letter to Coach Bowden, and I always got a handwritten letter back, and not everybody did that. If I sent out 100 letters, I would get 10 back, and 8 of those 10 were a standard letter saying, we don't have anything available right now, we'll keep your resume on file. And then I would always get 1 or 2 handwritten letters, and it was always Coach Bowden, which I always appreciated. He didn't have to do that, and from talking to a lot of people, it wasn't just me because my dad was Frank Beamer and he knew who I was. He was doing that with everybody, which I always appreciated.
Ben Portnoy.
Shane, kind of following up on Josh, I know we asked you this last week, but I think you said you guys were coming up on that 80% threshold. Is that in terms of vaccinated players, is that still the case, and where are you guys kind of at that point?
We're from when I saw you guys in what was that, Monday, whenever I was in Hoover, I think I used the word rapidly approaching, and we've only increased the speed of doing that since I saw you last week. We're in a good position as a football team right now. And again, that's something that we just, we're not demanding or requiring anything. It's a personal choice, and we try and educate our players on that, and ultimately it's up to them. But we educate, we answer questions. We've had a lot of Zoom meetings with outside doctors and whatnot, trying to educate our guys, and ultimately it's up to them.
Don't see any more hands, so I think we're going to go ahead and get to the awards part of it. Mike, you want to come up and?
And I was told for you elite golfers out here, some of our staff wanted me to let you know that there will be an emergency 9 for anybody that needs to go out there and break any ties or anything like that. There'll be an emergency 9 that some of the staff will be leading. But in all seriousness, thank you guys for being out here and appreciate all you do covering our program.